The EFCC Establishment Act was first enacted in 2002 and amended in 2004. The Act commissions the EFCC to combat economic and financial crimes, thereby enabling the EFCC to prevent, investigate, and prosecute penalized economic and financial crimes offences. Section 32, subsection 2AB of the EFCC Establishment Act makes it an offence to prevent officers of the Commission from carrying out their lawful duties, as culprits risk a jail term of not less than 5 years imprisonment. Our focus on the Eagle today is the powers of the EFCC in the investigation of economic and financial crimes. Aisha Mohammed is my name. Welcome to the Eagle.
Èló lẹ fẹ́ o owó tá máa ń tà lélẹ̀ o owó fẹ́ wọnú lé fún ìnáwó tẹ wá fún owó tẹ máa ná tẹ spray lójú àgbo.
Ẹ ń ta owó.
Àyíṣẹ́ ti wá nu ohun tó rè ní bíbá.
Ẹ̀yin ò tí ì gbọ́ ni.
Pé kí ni.
Àjọ EFCC ti dá ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe sílẹ̀ tó ń mú àwọn tó ń ṣe irú nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí tó ń ta owó Nàìjíríà. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ó lòdì sófin àti ta owó Nàìjíríà.
Àyíṣẹ́ ti wá lélẹ̀ bàbá.
Ó lòdì sófin àti ná owó Nàìjíríà lójú agbo káwọn èèyàn máa tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Gbogbo nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ ló lòdì sófin ìjọba Nàìjíríà.
Bó làwọn ṣe afẹ́ mọ ọ̀rọ̀ ajé tiwa sí bàbá.
Ẹ wá ṣẹ́ mi ṣe ni. Mo tiẹ̀ gbọ́ pé àwọn èèyàn bíi 2 ló ti lọ sẹ́wọ̀n lórí nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe yìí. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ wá nǹkan mi ṣe o. Àjọ EFCC ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe wọn tó bá mú yín ẹ̀wọ̀n ni o. Ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má kó bá mi. Ẹ ṣé.
The Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has disclosed that all efforts failed that was made to get the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Adoza Bello, to respond to investigation reports regarding his alleged involvement in money laundering to the tune of 80,246,470,089 naira 88 kobo. Olukoyede stated this in Abuja while addressing media executives at the corporate headquarters of the EFCC. Ojochokutami Eche gives us an update on this and on the proceedings of Yahaya Bello's arraignment. Over to you, Ojochokutami.
According to the EFCC chairman, he had a telephone conversation with Bello, offering him ample opportunities to present himself for interrogation by investigators of the EFCC.
In a poor state like Kogi, and you want me to close my eyes to that, under the guise of saying I'm being used by who? At this stage of my life, used by who? By who? For crying out loud. I assumed office here. I didn't initiate the case. I inherited the case file. I called for the case file. I called for the report. And I said, look, there are issues here. Do you know on my honor, I put a call across to him, which ordinarily I'm not supposed to do, just to honor him as a governor, as a immediate past governor. Sir, there are issues. I've seen this case file. Can you just come? Let us clarify these issues. I'm under camera. He said, sir, I thank you, my brother. I know, but I can't come. There's one lady, I don't know what her name is, maybe a senator, that she learned she had set, she has surrounded the EFCC with over 100 journalists, to come and embarrass him and intimidate him and all kind of stuff. I said, okay, if that is your fear, I'm going to pass you through my own gate, special man's gate. You will come to my floor. We will accord you that respect. I will invite my operatives. They will come and interrogate you or interview in my own office. What could be more honorable than that? In my own office. To allay the fear. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You know what he said? But can't they come to my village?
Olukoyede also disclosed that the EFCC, in its bid to ensure the safety and stability of the foreign exchange market, has uncovered a new fraudulent scheme called P2P, which is peer-to-peer trading scheme. The platform, according to him, is operating outside the official banking and financial corridors with more than 300 accounts linked to it already frozen by the EFCC.
We discovered that there are even people within the system who are doing worse than Binance. they call it the P2P and all of that. If you notice, in the last 42 days ago, the dollar had started appreciating again. Maybe you didn't notice that. Over 300 accounts in illicit forex trading that would have led to another crash in the next 1 week. Get an order to freeze those accounts.
The EFCC chairman reaffirmed the commitment of the Commission to the economic growth and development of the country, promising that the EFCC would not relent in the exercise of its mandate. He told the media executives that the Commission has recovered more than 120 billion naira from fraudsters within 6 months and secured more than 1,300 convictions.
We need the EFCC. We need this institution to survive. So many victims that we have wiped tears off their eyes, people that they have swindled and all of that, in their millions. How much are we going to say? Every day we keep recovering money for victims, every day. In my 6 months, we have recovered close to 120 billion.
Olukoyede called on Nigerians to be more dedicated to the nation, insisting that patriotic Nigerians should offer more support to the EFCC because the Commission is crucial to the growth and development of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello has been served his charges through his counsel Abdul Wahab Mohammed Eseyen after Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court Maitama Abuja ruled that the defendant should be served through his counsel, especially as he yet again failed to appear before the court. The EFCC is prosecuting Yahaya Bello alongside his nephew Ali Bello, Dauda Suleiman and Abdusalam Hudu on 19-count charges bordering on money laundering to the tune of 80,246,470,089 naira 88 kobo. At the last court sitting, Bello's counsel Adeola Adedipe Eseyen prayed the court to quash the arrest warrant granted the commission against Bello, arguing that the substituted service to the defendant through his counsel Abdul Wahab Mohammed Eseyen has invalidated the arrest warrant. However, Prosecution Counsel Kemi Pinero Eseyen, in his response, urged the court to decline hearing on any motion from Bello's legal team until the defendant is physically present in court for his arraignment. After hearing both counsels, Justice Nwite adjourned ruling on the defense's application seeking a revocation of the arrest warrant on Bello till May 10, 2024. Ojo Chukutami Eche for the Eagle.
Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has called on Christian clerics across the country to strive towards diligence and godliness as work ethics and potent weapons against economic and financial crimes and other acts of corruption. He made this call in Abuja while receiving the founder and chaplain of Voice of God's Chaplaincy, Reverend Francis Obioha, who paid him a courtesy visit at the corporate headquarters of the Commission. Abbas Abubakar Umar is our guide.
According to Olukoyede, priests play significant roles in nation building through their prayers, accountable conduct, diligence and righteous way of life. The EFCC's boss pointed out that preaching and practicing what is good have more impact on people. He went further to commend Obioha for taking the initiative to establish Christian chapels in law enforcement environments in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, pledging that the EFCC will support the mission by making sure that anti-corruption messages are passed across the country.
Thank you for thus far you are helping us, particularly your mission to the law enforcement and the military. It's a critical one. It's a major assignment that God has given you, sir. And you have our support anytime, any day.
Earlier, Obioha in his speech thanked the EFCC's boss for making himself available to God to use him to serve the people. He pointed out God chose Olukoyede for service and impact and prayed God to continue to give him the boldness, courage and grace to do the work.
But there was something that God saw in you. That was why God chose you. Because you made yourself available. So also, the Voice of God Chaplaincy was saying, congratulations.
Youths in the country have been called upon to shun cybercrime and other forms of criminality. The EFCC chairman made this call in Benin City, Edo State, while speaking on a program, Youth Empowerment Against Cybercrime, organized by Cybersecurity Education Initiative, a non-profit organization dedicated to cybercrime prevention. Again, Abbas Abubakar Omar is our guide.
The EFCC boss, represented by Head Public Affairs Department, Benin Zonal Office, William Osagele, warned the youth to stay away from cybercrime as the consequences were grave. He stated that the laws empowers the Commission to arrest and prosecute anyone found culpable and that they should not be tempted or lured by the flashy lifestyle of those involved in criminality, because the Commission will continue to arrest and prosecute anyone that is involved. In the last few years, he stressed that the Commission has secured thousands of convictions of persons involved in cybercrime and may have been stripped of their illegally acquired properties, ending in shame. He further urged the youth to use the internet to innovate and create positive economic growth, as there is no shortcut to wealth. Executive Director CYSED Moses Joshua said the essence of the program was to build mental strength in youth to resist cybercrime and other serious organized crimes. Joshua said it is to enhance knowledge and awareness about the adverse effect of serious organized crimes and establish a sustainable impact through virtual space, as they expect to see increased positive behavioral change in target beneficiaries and a reduction in such activities within the community. Bas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
The functions of the EFCC include the investigation of all financial crimes, including advance fee fraud, money laundering, counterfeiting, illegal fund transfers, future markets fraud, contra scam, and the coordination and enforcement of all economic and financial crimes law. So let's go over to the interview segment where Golden Onwura is with our guest to discuss on the powers of the EFCC in the investigations of economic and financial crimes. Over to you, Golden.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is a Nigerian law enforcement agency that investigates financial crimes such as advance fee fraud and money laundering, amongst others. The EFCC was established in 2003, partially in response to pressure from the Financial Action Task Force on Money Laundering, FATF, which named Nigeria as one of 23 countries non-cooperative in international community's efforts to fight money laundering. The Commission has been instrumental in charging and prosecuting, as well as in recovering and repatriating significant stolen resources for the Nigerian state. Our focus today is on the powers of the EFCC in the investigation of economic and financial crimes. With me to do justice to this topic today is ACE1 Cosmos Ugu. He is a prosecutor from the legal department of the EFCC. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Before we start, let's look at the EFCC Establishment Act 2004, Section 7, subsection 1A and B, which says, the Commission has power to A. Cause investigations to be conducted as to whether any person, corporate body or organization has committed any offense under this act or other law relating to economic and financial crimes. Then B says, cause investigations to be conducted into the properties of any person if it appears to the Commission that the person's lifestyle and extent of properties are not justified by his source of income. Can you explain this section of the Act?
Section 7 of the EFCC Establishment Act is a very fundamental section and a very key section in the fight against corruption. Now, as you rightly read out, there are two arms, A and B, of Section 7 there that you read out. Now, what that means, Section A, for instance, is where the EFCC derives the powers to investigate anybody accused of having committed economic and financial crimes. Now, that is where we derive our powers to accept a petition from any aggrieved Nigerian, any victim of any fraud, and then we accept the petition and we cause investigation into the petition. The second arm of it is the arm that does not require a petition. And why do I say that? Why I say that is from the tenor of what you just read. If anybody is suspected to be living above his income, if anybody has properties that are not commensurate with his known source of income or his legitimate source of income, the EFCC does not have to wait for a petition to investigate such a person. So by that provision, the EFCC can now cause an investigation into the person's lifestyle. Let me give you an example. You have a civil servant who is on a salary of 500,000 naira a month. Now, he has the latest Jeep. He lives in Maitama or Isokoro in a duplex. He has his children in one of the best schools in Abuja. Now, where EFCC comes across such a person, the EFCC does not have to wait for a petition to investigate that person. This provision we read out has empowered the commission to cause an investigation into the person's properties to unravel whether these properties that this person owns is actually commensurate with his known source of income. And where it is found that it is not commensurate with his known source of income, the EFCC can prosecute him. So that is what that section says.
Some people have argued that the Commission does not have powers to investigate offences, as in some offences. But looking at Section 7, subsection A to F, apart from the EFCC Establishment Act, are there other laws that the EFCC can actually enforce?
Now, let me take you to Section 46 of the EFCC Establishment Act, which defines economic and financial crimes. Now, Section 7 that you're looking at now has listed some acts that the EFCC can enforce, including the penal code and all of that as listed there. Now, if you go to Section 46 of the EFCC Establishment Act, there are so many offenses mentioned there. There are so many acts, so many conducts that by the definition of economic and financial crimes are offenses under economic and financial crimes. Now, those acts, even not found within these laws that have been stated under Section 7, are within the ambit of the powers of the EFCC to prosecute. So, in essence, the provisions, the laws listed under Section 7 are just some of the laws that EFCC prosecutes and enforces.
The attempted arrest of the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, have attracted some commentaries, and some people say that the EFCC disobeyed a court order restraining them from arresting the ex-governor. Can you bring us to speed as to what actually happened and where the situation is right now?
Thank you. Now, it's a very sad situation. This is a country where corruption seems to be the only aspect that so many people delight in. Now, the former governor of Kogi State, he's no longer in office, so he's a former governor. His immunity is gone, so nothing stops anybody from prosecuting him. He is reasonably suspected to have committed offenses that falls under economic and financial crimes. And the EFCC invited him, he wouldn't come. And the EFCC now went ahead to get an order from the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja for his arrest. An arrest warrant was issued by the Federal High Court so that he can be arrested and be brought to court. The EFCC is acting under the order that it got from a legitimate court, which is the Federal High Court. So there cannot be an abuse of process where there is an order of court that says you can arrest him and bring him to court. There cannot be an abuse. So as far as I am concerned, anybody that is saying that the EFCC is in contempt or anything is not fully abreast of the facts. Because the fact is that there is an order of court authorizing the EFCC to arrest him.
Now let's talk about the powers of the Commission to investigate, arrest and prosecute offenders. At what point can a person have the right to stop the EFCC from conducting investigation or arresting a suspect?
I do not think there is any point that anybody can lawfully stop the EFCC and even other law enforcement agencies from investigating him. Now, if you look at the provisions of our Constitution, there is what is called a fundamental human right, which is granted every citizen of Nigeria. Now, under those provisions, you will not find any right that says that any citizen of Nigeria that is suspected of having committed a crime should not be investigated. The only exception, with due respect, is as regards people that enjoy immunity. The Constitution has given certain classes of people immunity from criminal investigation and prosecution, especially prosecution. But outside that, all Nigerians, once you're reasonably suspected of having committed a crime, you are to be investigated. And after investigation, if investigation finds that you are culpable, then you're to be charged to court so that the court will determine your fate. So there is no point that anybody can confidently say that, yes, I have the right to approach the court and stop the EFCC from investigating me, from arresting me. Now, this issue is an issue that comes up severally. And most times, you fall back on the law because there are decisions of court to that effect. And the position of the appellate court is that nobody has a right to be shielded from investigation. So it is actually an aberration for anybody to run to court and say, shield me from police investigation, from EFCC investigation, from any manner of investigation whatsoever. It's an aberration. Because you're supposed to submit yourself to investigation. If you didn't do anything, if you know you have not done anything, why are you shielding? Why would you want the court to shield you from being investigated? After all, investigation is just the beginning of the process. After investigation, if nothing is found, you go home. The EFCC has investigated so many persons and they went home. They were never charged because we didn't find anything, contrary to what was suspected. So there is no point that anybody has the right to approach the court to say, stop the EFCC from investigating me.
Thank you very much, ACE1 Cosmos Ugu, for coming on the program. But just before you go, what is your advice to Nigerian citizens as regards the fight against economic and financial crimes?
My message to them is to tell them point blank that they are committing an offense when they obstruct officers of the EFCC from arresting anybody suspected to have committed a financial crime. If you look at the provisions of the EFCC Act, such conduct is punishable and attracts prison sentence of up to 5 years. If you look at section 38(2) of the EFCC Establishment Act, it clearly says that anybody that obstructs officers of the commission in the course of their duty, commits a crime and upon conviction could be sentenced to a prison term of up to 5 years.
Thank you very much, ACE1 Cosmos Ugu, for coming on the program. But just before you go, can you give your final word of advice to the citizens of Nigeria as regards this fight against corruption?
Thank you. Fellow citizens, this fight is our fight. The work of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is to make life better for all of us. Let us own this fight. Do not be dissuaded by the little stipends you get from these people that are oppressing you and cornering the commonwealth that is meant for all of us, for them and their children. Own this fight so that we can have a better Nigeria, so that our kids will have a future. That is my message to Nigerians. Own this fight.
Clearly, the EFCC is backed by law to fight all forms of economic and financial crimes. It is therefore important that all citizens cooperate with the EFCC in all aspects of investigation, because obstruction of investigation is also a crime. Let's own the fight against economic and financial crimes to make Nigeria a better place. That's it from the interview segment. I am Golden Onra. Back to Aisha for the rest of the program.
And that's how we end today's episode of The Eagle. Until we come your way again, keep sending in your messages, inquiries and suggestions to info@efcc.gov.ng. You can also call us on 0809 3322644. Don't forget to use the EFCC mobile app, The Eagle Eye, to report any fraud you see happening around you. You download the app, you follow the steps and report fraud on the go. And you can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. Also remember to join us every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. on our web-based town hall meeting called EFCC Connect, where we answer your questions and note your observations of the anti-corruption fight in order to serve you better. And also listen to EFCC Radio 97.3 FM, the voices against economic and financial crimes. I am Aisha Mohammed, leaving you with this parting words that says, we cannot control everyone, but we can ensure that when we see corruption anywhere, we shine a light on it. We can be truthful and maintain our integrity in our personal dealings, and we can also teach our children to be better. Only then may we make a difference. Let's do the right thing always. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please do stay safe, be kind to yourself and to others around you, and do enjoy the rest of the week.